Yeah, so my name is Zakriya Shah. I live in Springfield, Illinois, and I won a 2025 GR Corolla Premium Plus. Yeah, I'm a resident physician in Southern Illinois. I'm currently second year. I just got off of nights. I haven't even really changed. I came home, fell asleep, and then now I'm waking up to this. So I'm happy to be here. I'm a internal medicine resident. I have a specific interest in hematology and oncology, so that's blood and cancer. And it's an experience to be going through this, going through the learning process and seeing patients every day. It's actually really exciting. I'm grateful to be in the position that I'm in. So I'm a car guy for a long time. I grew up with Fast and Furious as a child, so cars have been sort of a fascination for a long time. And I didn't go into engineering, but I tell my parents all the time that, I probably would have gone into automotive engineering if I had the chance, just because it's such an interesting field. And 2025 GR Corolla especially, the reason why I actually went for it was I'd followed PrimeDriven for a while. I'd seen their advertisements. They have quite a few stellar cars, but I just I wasn't they didn't ever really caught my eye. And then I saw that 25 GR Corolla, and it's one of those cars that I've been following that car since it was the Yaris back in Europe. So I knew about the three-cylinder engine, turbocharged. I knew that it had hundreds horsepower per cylinder. It was like an engineering marvel. I am into WRC2, so seeing World Rally champions driving around in a Yaris, just ripping it. And all I could think of was I have to have this car. This is the car. Either I'm gonna buy it myself, but then I saw that PrimeDriven was hosting it, and I was like, listen, I'm just gonna throw my hat into the ring. And boom, and it was complete. There was actually an accident. I initially submitted one. I was like, wait, did this go through? And then I was like, you know what, let me just do it again just to be safe. And I think I sent in two different submissions for it, and lo and behold, I think it was the second one that was the one that won it for me. So it's just luck of the draw. But I'm super happy. I'm super grateful for it. It's a car that you know, these are those cars that people will talk about for years, just like we talk about the old Supras, the Mark IV Supras, the R34 GTRs, the 90s cars that people now still want. I think this is going to be one of those cars, and I'm really happy that I won. And it's interesting whenever you think about the iterative process of engineering. We think about the 90s cars, and we think about the inline sixes that Toyota used to make, and we used to think about we think about the inline sixes that BMW, all of these different technologies from the 90s that are so beloved. And then we realize, and it kind of don't give the same level of credit to engineers today, and realizing that you made a four-door hatch that 300 horsepower with turbocharged, that is developed by Gazoo Racing, which also happens to be the same race team that has won Le Mans, has helped win World Rally Championships. There's so much thought process behind these cars, and the engineering in terms of safety, in terms of comfort, in terms of just realizing what makes a practical car, and what makes an enjoyable driving experience. And I think that 6-speed manual, you don't have to have a super high speed to enjoy driving a car. Although this car definitely does have a much higher top speed than most people probably are used to, but intelligent shifting so that it rev matches for you, right? These types of things. These are all the sort of the little itty bitty things that engineers seem to They kind of just the little bow on top that you get to enjoy the car a little bit more, and it works for you a little bit easier too. So, it's such a cool car. We have nostalgia for the old stuff, but it's once you get into the details of the suspension, the way that the fact that you can modulate the all-wheel drive system between the front and the rear. If you want 50/50, you can get all of those as well. There's such variety that you can get out from that, it's truly like an engineering masterpiece, in my opinion. I think it's one of the best cars Toyota's ever built, to be honest. I mean, I'm a Toyota guy. I used to drive a 2010 Toyota Camry. I think I had like 300,000 miles on it. It was like, that car took me from Boston, Massachusetts, all like 18 hours of driving to Illinois whenever I was out there, and coming back to see my parents, and to come to start my residency and everything. And the fact that it was still so usable, like I could trust it. Like Toyota is one of those brand names that you have faith in, that like this, if you get this car, if you treat it right, if you take care of it, this car will pay you back in spades. And that's something that I think you don't get to see that in a lot of other vehicles. Like, you think about maintenance and all these types of things, it's like the little bitty things. But this is a Toyota. This is like, they have thought about everything. And that's like one of the amazing things about winning this, is that like I'm essentially upgrading to a similar car, but like with all of the amenities of like a World Rally Championship car, essentially, which is really cool. Not gonna lie, if I hadn't won this, I would have just bought one myself. I have to wait a couple of years. I'm not making that kind of money yet or anything, but this was one of those cars that was like, it's this car, or I'm just gonna get a regular old Toyota, just drive a nice Camry, and that's gonna be it. But this is one of those cars that's like, I can't justify it just yet, but now that I have it, dream come true. I was in clinic, so I'm seeing patients, and I just get a notification. I check my phone. I'm like, all right, let me make sure this isn't important or anything like that. Say congratulations, and I just put my phone down. I was like, all right, let me just look at this later on. And I finish seeing my patients and all that stuff, and I get out, and I'm gonna talk to my attending, and we're gonna go over the patient's case, and he's busy with another patient. Suddenly I look at my phone, and I'm like, what is that congratulations for? Because you get text message all the time, there's a lot of spam and everything. And I look, and I'm like, why is there a picture of my order form? Congratulations, you've won. This is PrimeDriven. You won the 2025 GR Corolla. And I sit there, and I'm like, quiet. There are other people around me, but I'm like, no. And I go back in, and I look. I see my email. I see the exact date of my order. I go back to my email. I'm like, is this right? Is this real? And then I'm like, what if they stole it? Then I was like, no, how? What kind of thief would steal a screenshot like this? Like, it's you quite, like, it slowly kind of builds over you. And it wasn't until I had the call with you that I was like, okay, this is it. This is legitimate. This is not, I'm not getting rug pulled or anything like that. They, like, the specific order, all of the things, all of the details that I was thinking about. I talked to my friend. I told my friend, I was like, yeah, you think this is real or not? And he was like, no, it's fake. And then he looked back at, okay, it might be real. He's from Georgia, so he has a Russian accent. It might be real. It's weird. It's okay. I think you won. And I was just like, oh my God. And it wasn't even the first day. It was like the third day that it hit me. The first day I was just like, am I actually like, and I kept opening the message, and I'm like, keep reading it. I keep rereading it. I keep verifying. But that third day comes, and you're like, okay, this is real. I got to fill everything out, but I'm still on clinic, and I'm still like, oh, I got to figure all this stuff out. So I'm going back and forth, and I'm just exhausted. But like, once I was able to sign everything over, make sure everything was secured, like talk to everyone. I think the other process that you guys really helped with was, you guys have a lot of people that can verify a lot of this stuff. I talked to American Sweepstakes as well. They were so helpful in explaining like what the process is, what this looks like, kind of understanding, what the situation really is, and how to take care of everything for yourself. You guys are so much more supportive. Like, this is, you think about winning the car, but once you've won, it's what do you do afterwards? And thinking about, what about the taxes? What about this? Where am I going to put all of that stuff? You guys are so like, welcoming, and you were accepting of like, okay, listen, we get it. You're busy. You got a lot of things to think about. Take your time for it. And I'm so grateful for that, because if I didn't have that time to think and pause, when you're a doctor, you're on it. Like, you're just on it, especially as a resident. Like I'm working 80 hours a week. Like, you know, you're busting, I'm coming home on nights, I'm falling asleep immediately, waking up 2 hours left, I gotta go back to work. So like things like that, that kind of, you know, it realizing that like, okay, like, you know what, I won, but thank God I won from PrimeDriven, because otherwise I would have been like, I would have been screwed. I would have lost the and I think the other thing I would probably emphasize to people is that like, you know, it's companies like this that kind of re-emphasize that like, all right, there's, you know, there's great companies out there you can buy, and I am like buying merch, especially like I've, you know, I only had a couple, I only spent like I think $50 or something like that, but it was like, let me just do it. And if you want the car, if this is a car that you will actually appreciate, do it, because it's worth it. Like I just spent $50 and I got a car that like I've been yearning for so many years, and like now that I have it, I'm like, it's like a dream come true. Like you wake up every day and you're like, oh, there's like a calm that hits your soul or something like that. Wow, it feels great. So I got a trip to Chicago with the boys planned out. We're going road tripping in the car. We're all taking turns driving it, although they're not going to be driving that fast or anything like that. We're all taking turns driving it around. I'm not going to say we're going to do anything illegal or anything like that, but parking lots may have some new tread marks on it after we're done. It is an all-wheel drive car. It is a rally-inspired car. There is a handbrake that you can just rip and just let it ride. I think those are, you know, there's so few cars like that as well too, that like you get to really, you know, work on. And it's perfect for the winter. It's perfect for the summer. It's lightweight. It's going to get much better gas mileage than like a super heavy like SUV or a truck or anything like that. So not only is my payments going to be looking great, I'm going to be able to drive around with the boys. I'm going to be able to actually like really build my skill set as a driver as well, because this is one of those cars that like sort of demands something from you. So I think whenever I get it, I'm gonna have the boys like sit down with me. We're all just gonna sit there and like, all right, how do I properly heel toe shift this car? Things like that. Just figuring out, you know, how do I max this? Oh, and also probably gonna get wrapped, either clear like clear bra, or I might just keep it. Like I might just get like a black wrap or something like that for it, just because I want to keep it a little bit low key. And then wheels, possibly wheels, just to get a little bit lighter, just to get a little bit more of that sporty feel in it. That's the plan. You know, it's totally fair for people to go out there and be skeptical, especially in like the age of the internet we have right now. But I can tell you firsthand, as someone that doesn't know any of these guys, this is legitimate. Like it's so cool that this is actually real. Like the fact that I'm talking to you, the fact that like I've been you guys reached out to me about all of this stuff. The process is so reliable and verifiable that like, do it. If you like a car, go for it. There's no reason for you to be like hesitant, especially if it's a car that, you know, say you wanted to say it's the car of your dreams. Just spend the 25 on it, because you can either buy 2 coffees, you could spend it on this, and maybe potentially win car of a lifetime.